Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Take. I'm John Spinato.
I'm Carl Weissable.
And I'm Fran Principe.
Fantastic being here. Three guys that usually do a radio show. In case our voices sound familiar to you, we do a radio show in the New Haven area. We're all over the internet. So we do a 2-hour show once a week down in New Haven, and here we are. We've commandeered the microphones, the studio, and we're going to give you a little version of the Saturday night sports scene, only coming to you here on a Tuesday, which is exciting. It's exciting to talk sports. This is a good time of the year to be talking sports. What is it, the 27th?
29th.
Whatever date it is, there is some day what they call Christmas in sports, where all the sports in the professional levels are playing at the same time. I think that's going to happen on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it did happen Sunday. The NHL, NBA, the MLB, play on the same day. That all happened this past Sunday. But anyway, there's no guarantee it's going to be, and there won't be a game unless there's incredible rain or something in Houston. Because tonight, the World Series is ready to play its sixth game. Maybe the final game of the year. Right now, the Astros have pushed the Nats to the brink. And the Astros have come roaring back from being down 2-0 to now have put themselves in position to wrap it up tonight with a good, solid Justin Verlander outing against Steven Strasburg. Guys, this is a real amazing time in sports as far as for the baseball season and also in football, only because we've seen a lot of football over the past few weeks here, and a lot of bad football and a lot of good football. But I got my guy to the left. I could talk about bad football. I could talk about the guy in the middle here, me. I could talk more about bad football. But the guy on my right here, Carl Weissable is sitting pretty. His Minnesota Vikings are doing really well. I'm a Giant fan, as you can tell from the uniform here. And he is a Redskin fan. He's wearing his Redskin shirt inside out.
We just don't tell anybody.
And he won't tell anybody. He's incognito there. But it's great talking sports with everybody here. And we're supposed to get a few callers in. You never know. They might call, they might not. But we're expecting a few calls in. And we're excited about that. But, guys, let's talk a little bit while we got a chance about the World Series. Carl, I'll start with you. What so far has impressed you the most about the World Series?
Well, these teams are winning on the road. It's amazing that Houston lost the first 2 games at home, and then they go on the road and win 3 games at Washington, which isn't easy to do.
Yeah.
And it's been a surprise because the pitching hasn't been all that great. Cole pitched a good game. Cole pitched a good game the other night, but for the most part, the pitching hasn't been great. And the hitting's starting to pick up for both teams. Washington struggled at home to score runs. I think he scored 3 runs in 3 games.
Yeah.
He scored a lot of runs in Houston. So, but my pick tonight, I think Verlander is going to pitch a very good game. He's going to beat him, and that's going to be the series. He's going to win at 4-2. Because I think he's a great pitcher, and I think he's going to step up tonight and get that big game, get the big win tonight. I just think he's going to end tonight.
I think he smells it. I think he smells the championship. He's getting a little older. He knows he might not come by this way as often.
Right.
And he'll put it away. And he's pitched pretty well in the postseason.
Yeah, he's not very. He had 1 game that was off, but for the most part, he's pitched very well in the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Yankees. They scored 4 runs on him in the first inning, but he shut them down the rest of the way.
Right.
And some people think, and I don't want to go back to another series, but puts us where we are now. Some people think the fact that he pitched all those scoreless innings after giving up the 4 runs, he saved the Astro bullpen.
He did.
So when they got to that 6th game, they didn't have a burnt-out bullpen. They were able to do whatever they had to do to make themselves go through that to get the championship.
Right, and that was a key. That was that bullpen night where both teams used a bullpen.
Right.
So it was a key that they saved the bullpen up for that game, and they won them. They won for them.
Yeah. Franny, your take on the World Series so far? I mean, we last we talked was on Saturday. We thought we had something going on there where the Astros were going to go down, but now look at the turnaround.
Yeah, the big surprise to me was that Washington won the first 2 at Houston.
That was a real big
to jump
surprise.
up right away. But like I said, I mean, how many bad starts is Verlander going to have?
Right.
I think he, especially at home now, after winning 3 in a row.
Yeah.
You would think the Astros, even going against Strasburg, you would think the Astros could win it tonight.
You know what's amazing is how the Nationals didn't capitalize on everything that was going for them. Think about it. They beat those two guys, the two hardest guys to beat 2 days in a row there.
Right.
Yeah. And then they up against Urquidy, who basically, not really that known for being such a great pitcher. He shuts them down, and the next thing you know, you're facing the toughest part of the Astros and what you have to face to try to win a World Series. It just turns on a dime.
Well, Washington was hitting real well in Houston,
Yeah.
and before that, but then the hitting's dried up. So, and when you have good pitching going against hitting that's not doing really well, it's very tough to win those games.
Yeah.
You need to outpitch them, and that's not going to be easy.
No, it's not. It's not. I think we got somebody trying to get in touch with us. And it's not who we want it to be.
Okay.
But that's good. We're always waiting for people to call in, do whatever they have to do. This is a little different. We're usually live on the radio, so we can ask people to contact us while we're doing that. But we really can't do that now. We're just going to see what kind of bank of calls we wind up getting. But the thing about baseball right now, let's focus in on this right now. We got the three of us here. Franny and I go back and forth on this. We both pretty much agree. I mean, aren't you sick of the way baseball is now? With the home run hitting, the shift. What else don't we? Oh yeah, the lack of starting pitching.
And the strikeouts.
And the
strikeouts are it's unbelievable. Who wants to watch a lot of strikeouts and then a home run every once in a while? It's terrible. The game is not exciting.
No.
There's very few games that are really dramatic.
Yeah.
And most of it's this lousy hitting, all strikeouts, all this launch angle, and all this upper swings, trying to hit home runs every time they're up there. And the pitchers know that, so they start to raise the strike zone on them.
Yeah.
And they're not going to hit the home runs as much. And
Right.
unfortunately for that's what's any of these games though. I mean, they get 6 hits and 4 more home runs, they won the game.
Yeah.
But it's not an exciting game anymore, and it's not even tense anymore.
No.
You got to wait till the last inning and maybe get some tension. But the games have not been well all season. Baseball's going to take a hit for the length of the games. The amount of foul balls is incredible.
Yeah.
And the strikeouts, and I don't know what they can't really nothing they can do about it. The parks are too small.
You hit the nail on the head with that, Franny. I think since they've been keeping this statistic, this has been the most full count. Yeah, the statistic. Most full counts in the history of the World Series.
Really, most full counts.
Most full counts. That's what Carl's talking about. Foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, strikeout, home run. That's about all you see. It's really, really. I don't want to say it's unwatchable, but it lacks the intrigue that we used to see.
Right. I mean, the games change so much. The pitch count now is kind of it doesn't put starting pitching at a premium anymore.
No.
No.
They're just going to limit everyone to 100 pitches, no matter who they are, no matter how they're thrown, and they're going to use these bullpens.
Yeah. Like the
Everyone's
Yankees.
got to have a 14-man staff now.
Right. The Yankee bullpen imploded as far as I'm concerned. But I believe it imploded because of the starting pitching. The starting pitching allowed that bullpen just to burn itself out.
Right. Well,
Right.
like I said, Zach Britton said it himself. I mean, the same matchups every night.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to win the same matchup every night?
Every night. Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not football where,
Right.
you're counting on, especially, if you're a lineman, win every play.
Right.
It's baseball. I mean,
Baseball. Oh, yeah. And especially the guys up there swinging for the fences anyway. All he's got to do, like Carl said, is hit a 1 or 2 run homer, it's over.
mean, yeah, if you have if the average against you is 200, you're doing great. That's still 2 out of 10.
Yeah. Like, what's
So,
his name? Springer had those statistics where he's batting 174, but he hit 3 home runs.
Right. So if you're going to face the guy 5 times in a series, chances are he's going to get a hit one of the times.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy to keep going the bullpens like they do.
It really is.
But we didn't get a chance to talk, John, since before the World Series started. But the Yankees, do you think some of the problem with the Yankees in the playoff was that they lost a lot of their aspiring young guy hitters that were doing well for all season for them, and now they're on the bench because you got to put Stanton in there and some of the other players that came back from the injury list, and they didn't. I thought they would win because they would out hit the Astros. They would pound them.
Right.
They didn't do that. And again, I think some of it is because they brought a lot of the players back that were injured all season that didn't do well.
Exactly.
And those kids they had playing all season were killing everybody.
Right.
I think that's part of the problem. That they didn't outslug them, and I thought that's what it was going to take to beat the Astros. We're going to have to outslug them,
Yeah.
and they didn't do that.
Nah, my comment on that, and Franny and I have talked about it. It really comes down to this. Start screaming out. No, it comes down to Gary Sanchez. Right? A guy like that, exactly. He came back after being injured for I don't know how many weeks before the season ended. He did nothing.
Right.
And then you got the big guy you just named there, Stanton.
Yeah, did nothing.
He basically what he did was ruin the chemistry, like you were saying.
Right.
Maybe there were better outfielders they could have put out there that can actually field, run, and maybe set up plays or set up innings for other guys.
Right.
I mean, every time Sanchez and Stanton came up, he said, "Oh, stink! He's probably going to strike out. Nothing good's going to happen." And that's basically what it was. And you knew that the Astros, like you said, if you're swinging for the fences and their starting pitchers are good enough, they're going to throw the ball high.
Right. They're not going to let you get a ball in those under.
They're not going to let you get under it. They know what you're doing. They know you're trying to go for the fences, so you might as well just throw it underneath, over their bats. No one's swinging for those. No one's going to contact those.
Right.
So I think what happened with the Yankees was well expected. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. And you pull your hair out if they don't do what you expect them to do. That's my mindset. I'll pull my hair out if they don't do what I expect them to do. Okay, that's why I got no more hair. But what really happens is you start watching these games and you realize they're not as good. I didn't really. I mean, you might have had higher expectations than I think you did about the Yankees.
I did, yeah.
I thought they were going to win it.
I didn't feel that they really had a better team than Houston. I just trusted the Houston hitters more, and by far their starting pitching. Forget about it. Greinke, Verlander, and Cole. I mean, the Yankees were rolling out, Paxton, Tanaka, and Savary. Get out of here. They're not going to win with those guys.
That's really where it was. Where it was won because the Yankees didn't hit.
They didn't
Well,
hit
yeah,
in
they
the
went
clutch.
those 3 games in
They
a row.
were awful. I remember I told you the statistic.
Right.
They scored 20. I checked this out, Carl. They scored 21 runs in that stupid series, right? 15 came on the way of the home run.
Yeah.
That's
well,
it.
That's what they lived on now.
Yeah, they had 44 hits and scored 21 runs.
Yeah.
That's pathetic. They left a ton of guys on base.
Yeah.
They were horrible. And in the clutch situations, you knew the Yanks weren't going to come through. And they didn't. And every guy on that team, the thing that got you the most was you knew every guy was either going to hit a home run or was going to, blow the situation. And he did. And like you said, they composed the team and put it together like an all-star game or whatever. We had the best home run hitter in your lineup. That's not how you're going to win. Not against good pitching. And it's a known fact, great pitching beats great hitting almost 70% of the time.
Correct, especially when it's the playoff time.
Yeah, and the playoff might even go up to 90. And that's what happened. That's how they melted, and that's why they weren't in the World Series. And who knows, maybe they might have been able to beat the Nationals. Maybe they might have been able to do what the Astros did. I don't know. I think the Nationals were on an incredible run before they lost these 3 games in a row. They were, if I'm not mistaken, 10-2 when they were up by 2 games.
They beat the Cardinals 4 straight.
Yeah, everything was rolling for them. I mean, everything was coming. They beat the Dodgers. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Dodgers. Then they beat the Cardinals. And, they just kept rolling one after another. But
They had to come from behind just to win the one-game wild card game, too.
yeah, they had to come back and win the wild card game against the Brewers that night and beat a good closer, too.
Yeah.
So, it's going to come down to tonight. You got Verlander. He'll give you at least 6 or 7 solid innings. And if the national batters are still comatose, it's over.
Yeah, they got to hit tonight. If they don't hit, it's over.
Yeah, they've had 8 hits in the last 2 games.
Yeah, it's been very bad. Yeah,
And that's basically how it boils down. But we got a few minutes here. We got another 30 minutes to go. But we're rolling right through, folks. It's baseball, and what'd you think about? All right, let me get a little rant in here. They let Larry Rothschild go.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Yankees
let somebody
decided-
go.
Told you. Who did I tell you they should let go? I said Aaron Boone, right?
Well, that's not
But
gonna happen.
that's what it was. They what is Francesco? Oh, they had to throw one to the alligators.
Well, the last time they threw one to the alligators, remember, it was the hitting coach. Remember,
Kevin
during the
Long,
yeah.
Long, yeah, and he's the national.
The last
team
time they
coach.
didn't make the playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah, that you're right. That is
it
what
was
they
like
did.
4
yeah.
years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Girardi wants him, so Girardi will probably take him with the Philly job.
I think he should. And then, all right, now we can talk about that for a second. But the way I look at Larry Rothschild, that's the last guy on the whole, or in the whole organization you'd want to get rid of. You know why? Because your system of pitching is flawed anyway. What did you want him to do? I'm sure Larry Rothschild didn't go in one day and say, "Here's how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a whole bunch of relief pitchers and the heck with the start." Are you kidding me? The guy's as old as dirt. He's probably around when Satchel Paige was pitching, and you're gonna tell him, "No, let's just go with relief pitchers." You know, I mean,
but
he's probably not. What are you doing?
is it an accident that
Phil Rizzuto, these.
the two games they won in that series was when they got good starts,
Yeah,
right? What don't they see
I know. That's how you win.
in the
You
in the
win.
postseason? So I mean, it's one of the ways to win in the postseason. But it seems like you gotta when you have aces,
Yeah.
it's a 7-game series. The Yankees are built more toward 162 game season
Right.
rather than a short series. That's
Right.
the way they're built.
That's what
Right.
they're built. See, that's where I think they're a sellout. Because if you're Brian Cashman or you're Hal or whatever, you sold out to that way of playing baseball that allows you to lose in the playoffs but win at the box office. So in other words, they cared more about the box office than they did about winning.
Well, they don't want to spend the extra money. They don't want to go
They
over
don't
the
want
salary cap now.
Exactly. They don't want to go near it. I heard Sweeney Murdy on the fan there talking about, well, he did a good job, kept the salary cap down. I mean, that's not what George wants.
No.
And George wants your team to be the best. The New York, as he always called it. The town of New York wants to win. We win for New York. And, the Yankees don't care about that anymore. All they care about is the bottom line. And now what they've done, I think, is they've basically indoctrinated the fan base into knowing that, hey, it's okay if you don't win a World Series. That don't matter. Look at all the home runs we hit. And all the home runs we hit. And look at these rising stars you got. You got Gary Sanchez. And, if John Carlos Stanton won an MVP 100 years ago. I mean, that just drives it crazy that your team has the potential of winning, and your owner or whoever they are, the powers that be, decide to sell them short. They don't want to be the best right now. They really don't. Because look at Houston. Houston went out and got Cole. Houston went out and got Verlander while the Yankees were sleeping. Everyone said, well, I don't think they could have got Verlander. They got him at the last minute.
Yeah.
What more time did you want? The Yankees could have got in there before. I guarantee you, and I don't want to sound like an old codger here, but I guarantee you Steinbrenner never would have let those guys go where they went. No way.
Definitely
Especially when
not
he knew they
Verlander.
were their enemy. You don't feed the enemy in those cases. You fight back. You do whatever you can do to make sure the guy. Here's another good question, Carl. You and I are baseball historians, so is Franny. And I asked this to Dick Graham. He couldn't answer it because it's there is no way to find the answer. But think about it. When is the last time the Yankees played in the playoffs and got knocked out by the same team every time for 3 years in a row? Name a time when the Yankees got to the playoffs, then they faced that team, and that team beat them every time out for the last 3 years.
There's not one team that comes to mind because
Oh,
it was Kansas City in the 70s. They only beat them once.
right.
They lost to Detroit once.
Yeah.
Cleveland, I think, once.
Yeah.
Seattle once. But it's never been more than once, I think, with any team.
Right. Exactly.
No,
That's what Houston's been doing to them.
Yeah.
3 times. They beat them in the wild card. They beat them in the ALCS twice. There's Steinbrenner no way would have put up with that.
But they lost the same way, just about.
And they lost
And they
with the
changed nothing.
They
Like I said,
changed
this
no-
going into
yeah.
this season, it was the same model.
same
What
model.
don't they what don't they get? What are they gonna, you know?
I know.
But again, it wasn't the same team that was winning all season. Those guys again were
Yeah.
sitting down on the bench or not even on the team.
They had a little bit better of a variety.
I think they were a better team with the younger kids that were in there, like the Trotschman in the outfield and
Yeah.
the third baseman
Urshela.
Shella, who still played, but I mean, it was taking time away from some of these guys.
Yeah.
When Stanton came back and Hicks and
You know another dud that
Judge,
showed up was,
Sanchez.
I mean, interrupt you, but Encarnacion.
right,
What
Right.
a dud he was,
he,
huh?
he was terrible. He was terrible in the playoffs.
Why did they need another
They
home
didn't
run
need
or
him.
nothing?
They didn't
Another
need him.
home run or nothing
That
guy.
was weird when they
Yeah.
signed him. Yeah.
Well, that was a move to get a top player.
Right.
You know, it made it look good. It was a top player. The Yankees
So
were
it
going
was
all
just
the way.
more of what they
Box
had,
office.
though.
Right, it was.
Box office. That's all it was.
They
That
needed a
was all.
starting pitcher, what they needed. They didn't get one.
Right.
They didn't get one.
Exactly. They didn't get that. And they let Greinke go to Houston.
Right.
You don't think that would have helped them tremendous? Let's analyze that for a second. That would have helped them tremendously to have Greinke in that series.
Right.
Because
Well-
Houston wouldn't have had him.
Well, Greinke supposedly won't come to New York anyway.
Wow.
He's supposedly, I mean, he's kind of self-admitted he's not a New York guy, and so I don't know if he would even
Yeah.
considered coming. But he's been another difference maker for Houston. He's had a
Absolutely.
good postseason.
Yeah, yes.
So
That's the other thing too. The thing about Verlander is it's not so much how good he does when he plays against other teams. He beats your team. You can't let the guy who you could have gotten beat you. It's just unbelievable. And that's where the Yankee state is right now. I don't know how we slipped back into it. We're doing the World Series. But now let's talk about the Mets.
Oh,
We got a few more minutes here.
All right.
Now the Mets. Now, how disappointed were you, Carl, and Franny, that they didn't get Joe Girardi?
Well, I wasn't shocked. I mean,
Alright.
I wanted him, but I wasn't shocked they didn't get him for a couple of reasons. Number one, too much money,
Yeah.
which the Mets won't do. And the second reason is the Brody Van Winkle is not going to be able to control him. And
Winkle.
so I think the guy,
Yeah.
the perfect guy for the Mets to get,
Yeah.
it wouldn't cost any more money,
Right.
would be Bobby Bonilla.
Oh yeah.
Pay him for the next 20 years anyway, so
put him
get
in.
Bobby Bonilla, put him in the dugout. Good, Bobby, run the team.
that's a
Pay
great
him anyway.
idea.
That
Pay
is a
them
great
anyway.
I
idea.
didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Save
box
money.
office.
Put Bobby Bow earn his
Right.
money.
Bobby Bo.
You're paying him $2 million
Wow.
a year for doing nothing.
He's
so you
better
don't
than
watch
Mickey
TV.
Callaway.
They would save a ton of money doing that. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. There you go,
Well,
Bobby
no,
Bo.
we're gonna have a guy like a Tim Bogar or some flunky from the
How about
Twins.
Carlos Beltran? What do you think about him? That's
Look,
still on
whoever-
his shoulder, by the way.
Oh my, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Beltran.
the funny thing was, what were they calling the candidate, the mystery candidate? What were they calling him? The bombshell
The
candidate.
bombshell.
The bombshell.
bombshell candidate.
I heard someone say the bombshell candidate is getting Mike Scioscia out of retirement.
Ah.
Like we hate Mike Scioscia anyway.
He's the guy with the home run off a
That's
good
what I
one.
mean.
Right.
Yeah. So if we can't have Mike Scioscia, we might as well get Beltran with the bat on his shoulder, right? It's the same
On
thing.
his shoulder. Bob out. Don't have Bobble at night at the.
The thing is,
Instead of a bobblehead, yeah, we'll have the bobble bat.
I mean, Beltran's gonna go into the Hall of Fame. He's gonna go in the Hall of
That's a good
Fame,
one.
and the Mets are gonna retire his number.
Yep.
So why ruin it, become the manager, and not do a good job? Because that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen if he gets to the Mets. If he goes somewhere else, he'll do a good job.
Yeah.
The Mets, he's gonna do a terrible job, and then he won't put his number up. Won't retire
Yeah,
his number
I mean-
then. So
Go ahead,
He
leave
won't
it
want- he
alone.
won't want
Leave it
to-
alone.
Hey, bring up retired numbers. How do you feel about that? Now they're retiring everybody's number. They're gonna make it easy. Like what was cool. What was always cool, I thought, was how they didn't retire. First of all, they never had a lot of great players anyway.
Right, yeah.
But still, they only had one player. It was Seaver,
Seaver, yeah.
right? And then it was
Well-
Piazza because he went in as a Met.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I think starting next year, it's Kuzman who kind of deserves it.
He
but,
deserves it. He
but they
definitely
should have
deserves
done it 30 years ago.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
know.
reason to make it
I
wait
know.
this long.
Yeah, but to do it now is just ridiculous, especially when 20 other guys have worn his number.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, why now?
Yeah,
Is he about to
right,
die
I
or
know.
something?
No, they're
Is that
getting
what it
because
is?
the Mets are
Tell it. getting
embarrassed. They're getting embarrassed by all the stupid
But
things.
now
that go
every
on.
year, so now they're going to have a million retired numbers. I mean, what? John Stearns is going to get his number retired now. It's like anybody.
I mean, the other guy.
come on.
There's only two
George
players.
Theodore. Who's next?
Don Hahn.
Stork. Don Hahn.
Don Hahn. Who's next?
There's only two guys
Come
I
on.
think deserve to get their number retired. Kuzman was one, and Keith Hernandez should be the other one.
Yeah.
he
I
came-
agree.
Robert
I
Carey
turned the
agree with
organization.
Hernandez, right.
Gary Carter got his number retired by Montreal, which is deserved. He was
He went
really,
in the Hall of Fame as an Expo. Yeah.
he was only
Oh,
really
he
a
did
Met
go,
for
yeah,
a good Met for 2 years. I love Gary Carter, but he was really only a good Met for 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Because after his second year in '86, he went down too. So
Yeah.
his legs were shot. He
Yeah.
couldn't bat anyone,
Yeah.
couldn't catch.
He was clutch though. But
Oh,
you're
a
right
great
though.
player for 2 years.
Hernandez was real good for them.
And he turned the organization around when he got there. They were a
Yeah.
terrible organization.
Yep.
He got there and he basically turned that organization around by telling the young kids how to play the game, and they almost made the playoffs in his second year there.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves it, and Kuzma deserves it. There's really nobody else. I mean, you could have given it to maybe Rusty Stahl, but even that's stretching it.
That's one thing about you got to look at the Mets another way too. Is that they really didn't have guys that excelled for a number of years. Even if they didn't win a championship, they just didn't have a lot of guys that you said, "Wow, he was an all-star for 6 years in a row."
Well, he had the guys like that, but like it was good in Strawberry. But what happened?
Yeah.
They both had serious problems at the end of their Met careers, and they went away. David Wright will probably get his number retired.
David Wright should have his number retired.
He will. He probably will because
Yeah.
he holds all the Met records.
What's I mean, if you look at the all-time records, you got guys like Edgar Alfonso, who's in the top 5 in every category.
Yeah.
Thing is, they never had anyone play more than like 6 years.
That's my point.
That because they never had any superstars come up from the minors. Strawberry was probably the first
Yeah.
real one, and then you
Yeah.
had Wright and Reyes,
Right.
and that's about it. And anybody else there, they always brought in later as a free agent or a trade. When they're past their prime. The Mets didn't have a good star in their lineup for 6-8 years in a row.
Well, they've only had
Right.
2 guys play for over 12 years only with the Mets. That's Kranepool and Wright.
Wow.
Everybody else is either was somewhere else first or went somewhere else after.
Wow.
Right.
Those are only 2 guys that really left the
So
Mets
they
as
didn't
only
stick
Mets.
around. They didn't stick around with the Mets. And if you look at a lot of guys that played with the Mets when they went to other teams, they wound up doing real good.
A lot of
The
guys
pitchers
yeah.
did anyway.
Yeah, David Cohn. I mean, you can name, we can name
And
more
Nolan
guys.
Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, that's another guy. I mean, you could throw a lot of guys in there that wound up doing real good with the Mets. Without the Mets, I should say.
I think it was right. We got the one no-hitter with Santana.
Yeah.
But I think after guys leave the Mets, I think there's like a dozen of them. I mean, Ryan had how many of them?
There is a dozen. I knew
There was a dozen,
lot.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Seaver,
yeah.
Ryan, Kuzman,
Seaver, Ryan, Kuzma.
You had
Gooden.
you had the kid that was in the Santana trade pitched the perfect game
Yeah.
for somebody. Remember, he was a first-round draft pick.
Oh yeah,
Rice.
that's
What was his
right.
name?
Yeah, that wasn't Braden.
No. You don't remember Carl's first-round draft pick out of Rice? What was his name? But he ended up pitching a perfect game for somebody.
It was
In
in the
the
Santana
MLBs?
trade.
He was in the Santana trade, yeah.
In the MLB. Oh wow.
It's funny because the Twins took the. I remember they made the trade with the Twins, and the big guy was Carlos Gomez, was the big guy.
Right.
they
He was
wanted.
he was the major leaguer that won the deal, and then they shipped off like 4 prospects.
Yeah, I don't remember what the prospects
whatever.
were that they
But-
I'm
got.
trying to think of. I believe.
But there's
that
been
there
at least a
was
dozen no-hitters out of, like I said, guys that left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys that left. I mean, Kevin Mitchell did win the MVP.
There you go.
After he left.
Well,
That was a homegrown guy. I mean, they ran him out of town pretty much.
Well, they were trying to get him away from Strawberry because they
Yeah,
thought
he
he was
was-
a bad influence on Strawberry.
Right,
They didn't
right.
want that.
Yeah.
And then get Strawberry. They didn't give him a contract anyway after the '90 season, which he was on the rise, and then things went downhill from anyway when he got to LA.
Yeah.
I remember that
Unfortunately.
guy's name.
That
It
was
was
the end
Phil,
of
Phil
Strawberry.
Umber.
Umber, right? I remember
Umber,
him,
yeah, that's right.
He had a
yeah.
perfect
I
game.
think it was. Yeah, he did.
He wasn't that great.
It wasn't
a
with the
pitcher.
Twins either. They,
He
they
wasn't that great a pitcher.
No, he wasn't. That's the only thing he ever
Did
did.
with the White Sox.
I think it might have been the White Sox.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I remember that.
I remember him going, and I remember now in that trade, but he was not good in the major leagues. I remember he's bad for Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah. It was good. I mean, they had Santana. I don't know how many years did they have him.
They had him like 6 years, 6 or
So
7 years.
He was a
Well,
decent
he
pitcher.
was a Jim Duquette draft pick anyway. So
Who?
Umber.
Umber, yeah.
Umber,
So what do you
yeah.
expect?
Well, Santana was
Yeah,
there. 08 was his first year, which was really good. Then next year was okay. And then he
Yeah.
went. Then he had injuries. Every year after that, he was injured. He just
Santana,
couldn't.
yeah, he couldn't get him back on the
He played
mound.
2 real seasons with us, and after that, I
Oh,
don't think-
really? That was it?
Yeah, the next 4 or 5 years, because they're still paying him too. I think the contract they worked out with him is still paying him.
Who's that?
Santana.
Are they still paying him
They're
too?
still because they cut his when he
Yeah,
got rid of
Johan
him, they gave him an extension that they would pay him for a longer time. So he ends up getting more money that they owed him because that's just the way the Mets do things. They don't want to spend all that money at once. They spread it out.
Now, here's another thing I bet you George never would have let happen, was they would have let a good manager go to your rival.
Right.
That's crazy. No one will ever do that. I mean, that back in the day, that was totally unheard of. Now you got a guy who's going to come into your ballpark and he might beat
that's
your
it.
brains out.
That's just it. I mean,
Could have avoided it.
they're devaluing starting pitching. They're devaluing field managers now too.
And not a
I
manager.
mean, because
yeah.
who really runs any of these teams? Even the Astros have their own analytics department.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
every team does now.
Yeah.
So the manager becomes more of a puppet now.
Yeah.
Or if he's not a
Probably been
puppet,
here.
well, if he's not a total puppet, he's told to do it a certain way. You know, he's not
But what
gonna.
happens now is we got 3 teams in that division that are going to be better than the Mets next year. Because the Phillies can definitely be better
oh,
now.
Yeah.
They're going to be better. They're going to be a better team.
Yeah, now you got the Nationals, you got the Braves, and then you got the Phillies.
Right. They're going to be a better team next year.
The only team
you'll
that-
see. You'll see. Tim Bogart's Mets they'll be contenders.
Yeah. Didn't he play for the Mets?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Played shortstop for the
played
Mets.
shortstop.
And where is he coaching now? Is he with the? He was with the Red Sox, wasn't he?
I think he was for a little
know.
while. He was a first base coach or a hitting coach,
Yeah.
something like
Oh,
that.
really?
I thought
Yeah.
he was.
So he was actually in the major leagues.
The guy couldn't hit 210, but he was a pitching, hitting coach. So that
Hitting
just shows you how things go.
Well, it's like Bill Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
That guy hit like a 205 lifetime, and he's a batting coach.
Yeah, they do that. I guess guys can teach better than they can hit.
I don't know. But let's talk some NFL. We got a few minutes
NFL.
here. We got a good 15 minutes to go here. We look at the NFL. I'm going to talk about the Giants for a second before we get into the NFL too much.
Go right ahead.
Don't
Pat
they play in
Shermer.
the NFL?
They shouldn't. They should take away their like in the Animal House, take away their charter. I mean, the bottom line is Pat Shermer has got to be one of the worst head coaches the Giants have ever had. I could say that. I mean, McAdoo is up there. You know, I mean, McAdoo is just as
What about McAdoo's dad?
McAdoo's dad.
Do you remember him?
Bob McAdoo?
No. Ray Hanley.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you remember him?
Yeah, I remember him.
He's like McAdoo's dad.
Ray, let's go. I remember that.
Oh, Bill Arnsparger.
And Arnsparger was the guy with the fumble in the Meadowlands, right?
I think he was the
No,
coach.
it's
then.
McVay.
It was McVay, that's right.
That's
and
right.
then
Sean McVay's grandfather.
His grandfather.
Yeah.
Larry Zonke fumbled it. I told you about the time I almost beat him up, or he almost beat me up. I told you all about that, right?
Well, we'll tell people that you beat him up.
Yeah.
sounds better.
I told you that Larry
Yep,
Zonke
yep.
story. Yeah, he's the idiot who fumbled it. But anyway, Shermer definitely fits the mold. There's something not right with that guy. There's no way that he really should be. He doesn't have that, I don't know, French say that, je ne sais quoi. No, he doesn't have that on-field command. I don't know what he's got. If he's the offensive coordinator type of guy, he's bad. He doesn't really have a good feel for what's going on during the game. I mean, there we are. I'll go right to the heart of the matter. He gets a penalty in the end zone, gets called. You hear about this late in the game?
No, I didn't see that part.
All right, so we're in the penalty in the end zone, okay? The Giants are trying to come back into the game. They need every score they can get. They need every yard they can get. Penalty in the end zone. They throw the flag. It's pass interference. All of a sudden, they pick up the flag. No pass interference. Not really an explanation, nothing. You could challenge pass interferences now in the NFL, right? He decides with 2 timeouts in his pocket not to challenge. Not to challenge a thrown flag that was picked up. That's a little.
Yeah, but they're not reversing any of
not.
those.
They haven't reversed one yet.
But he
it's
coulda
like
tried.
It's like 2 out of 30 or something.
So what? It's the
Yeah.
game. The game's on the line.
They're not gonna. I mean, I didn't see the play, so I can't comment on it. But
No,
They're
I
not-
mean,
I'm just
it's
saying
worth
they're
a
not-
shot. It's worth a shot to challenge
it's
it.
worth a shot.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing to be doing this, and I'm glad it's somebody's idea. The head of officials, whoever it is,
Yeah.
they're pretty much. I mean, everyone pretty much sees it. It's a conspiracy.
Uh,
They're not gonna reverse. They're not gonna reverse any of these calls.
No,
they're pretty much
it
telling these
seems like
coaches,
a
don't waste your
conspiracy.
time because we don't care. And they're giving their thumb up to the competition committee.
yeah.
It's just stupid. It's just it was a knee jerk reaction.
Well, it's all because
Over a
the
bad
Saints,
call.
The
Come
Saints
on.
cried for a year.
Yeah,
Sean
no,
Payton,
they
the
didn't have
Saints
to cry
cried
for
for
a
a
year. It was a couple months. He's on the competition committee.
Yeah.
He's the guy that pushed it through.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
it's
I mean, it's crazy.
It's a judgment call. You can't. How do you reverse a judgment call?
So hopefully they'll do away with it. Then I reverse something, and hopefully next year they're just going to do away with it.
You know what else they should do away with is the onside kick.
Well,
Did
should
you
they?
ever see how they try to do that?
Well,
See
they're
how
trying
hard
to do
it
away
is?
with it now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even get it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
No, it's
What's the thing they don't let you do? They don't let you.
There's only been one all year that was successful.
Yeah.
there's one in 2 years that's been successful. I think that's it.
It's terrible. It's terrible. You can't.
How
you
have
can't.
they made it so difficult, in your opinion?
Well, it's
You got to line up. You can't line up on the ball
right.
anymore.
You got to be behind it, and then
Yeah,
See
you got to
how
be so
many-
many yards behind now.
You gotta be 5 yards off of it, so the other guy gets a better jump to
Yeah.
get to the ball.
Yeah.
That's all.
because they don't want it. They don't want the odds. They don't want any contact on kicking anymore. They want kick in the
Yeah.
end zone. Nobody return it.
Yeah.
That's how Cordell Patterson. That he returns everything. If it's 10 yards deep, you don't care.
Yeah.
He returns everything. But
Yeah.
most of the guys don't. Most of the kicks aren't returned
Yeah.
unless the team sets it up that they want to return.
Right.
They want to go to some one play system, like almost like a 4th and 20 or something.
Yeah.
Let's put the offensive defense out there, and give it one play to get 15 or 20 yards or something. That's what they want for an onside kick.
Oh,
So in other words, if
instead
you
of kicking
convert,
it.
if you convert that, then you get back possession. That's what
Ah,
they. That's I don't know. That's what I hear.
Wow.
It's
Sounds like it's heading that
it's
way.
all dumb anyway.
It's heading
Yeah.
that way because they want to get the guys off the field for an onside kick. They rather just have the offenses and defense on the field.
Yeah, you're looking for more action, more because the problem right now in football is if you look at these teams, they're either bad or a lot of bad and a lot of mediocre teams.
Yeah.
And the mediocre teams are the ones that are beating the bad teams. That's why they got wins. Because
Right.
there's a lot of teams that aren't any good,
No.
and that's a kind of scary thing. I mean, you're building us up, and the AFC's already almost done.
Yeah.
You got Kansas City, the Patriots, of course. You got Baltimore, Houston, and Indianapolis, and Buffalo. And that's it.
And the thing about those teams you just mentioned, they're really not that good except for
No.
the Patriots.
I mean, look, the Patriots, who have they played?
And the Patriots haven't even played anybody.
I-
There's like no one left in the AFC right now.
There's not.
Baltimore, and that's
that's the only competition for the
yeah,
Patriots I can see.
and maybe when Mahomes is healthy, maybe.
Maybe.
But their defense is so bad.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's asking a real lot of Mahomes when you come in, your defense already give you 21 points,
Yeah.
and you're behind by a couple touchdowns. Then you're gonna
Right.
come back with a bad knee.
But it's just
Not
there's
gonna
no. I mean, even the AFC's got, except for the Patriots, and I'm not even sure how great they are because they played the Jets twice, the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Giants. I mean, they played all teams with one or no wins. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
except for Buffalo, that was a close game. Was it 14-7 or something
yeah,
like
it
that?
was close. You're
Yeah.
right.
So I mean, they haven't
The
played a lot
Browns
of good
haven't
teams.
really had a good
Browns
schedule.
got 2 wins.
Browns got 2
I don't think they've played anybody else more than 2 wins except for the Bills.
And
Yeah,
they
I mean-
won't. The only team they're going to play that seems to be, it's going to be an interesting game this week is the Ravens.
Right.
That's going to be interesting because now, here's what intrigues me about that game. Let's talk about that for a second. You got Jackson, who everyone thinks is, this great quarterback, the up and coming star, the RG3, all those type of guys rolled in one. Will the Patriots slam the door in his face? That's what I want to see. I don't want to see that happen. I'm just curious to see if it'll happen.
Right. That's the big matchup. I mean, he bombed in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
You're right. He
You
did
know,
bomb, yeah.
I mean, he had a good fourth quarter in garbage time, but
Yeah.
we're gonna see now. I really believe the Patriots' defense is elite.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, their
right.
offense
Well,
has
it's
struggled a little bit. They've had injuries, offensive line injuries.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're a very good
They
team.
don't
There's
have
no
a
question
really
about
good.
it.
They don't have really good. Yeah, they don't have really good outside guys.
No.
So it seems like their offense can be slowed down,
Yeah.
but I really believe that their defense is elite. So
They're gonna-
we're
They're going
gonna
to find
see.
out because they're going to play Kansas City with Mahomes hopefully back by then,
Yeah.
Houston and Baltimore, and you got the Eagles and Dallas. After that, that's it. Those teams got to beat them out. They're 16-0.
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I mean, remember how that 0-7 team, how dominant it was,
Yeah.
and it
Right.
went 16-0. This team is, like I said, I think their defense is elite, but their offense is.
Right.
There's
It's
half a
different.
dozen offenses out there right now who have played a lot better this year.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be funny if they went 16-0 again?
I know.
I mean,
It's
with
quite
not like a
possible.
real powerhouse.
Yeah.
It's quite possible because they're not playing the tough schedule. I mean,
No.
AFC's not tough, and they're playing the weakest division in the NFC, which is the East. So I mean, it's right there for them. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and then you got the NFC, who's got top heavy. They got about 5 teams that are really good at top, and then the rest of the teams no good. They're all either mediocre or bad.
Right.
And but they've got a lot better teams at the top.
The North has. I mean, Detroit's played really good. That's been a big surprise to me.
Yeah.
But you still got the Vikings and Packers are.
Vikings,
Vikings,
Packers, you got
Packers,
San
great
Francisco's
build-up.
played tremendous
Well, yeah, they're.
New
I think
Orleans.
they're the best team right now, 49ers.
in New Orleans. But again, you're going to find out because now some of these teams are going to start playing each other. San Francisco's got to play Green Bay, and they got to play New Orleans.
Right.
So we're going to see if those teams, how good they really are, but now they start playing better teams.
Yes.
Well, they dominated, man. Their defensive line dominated
San
the
Francisco,
Panthers
yeah.
this week. I mean, it wasn't even funny.
Boy.
I mean, they were moving guys around. Carolina was moving their tackles around. Taylor Moton, who's their right tackle, who's maybe a top 15 right tackle in the league, they put him on the left side. Like, I don't know, maybe they thought they were going to slow down Nick Bosa or something, and I didn't even notice it until I think it was the first or second series. And I'm looking, I'm like, what's he doing? Nick Bosa's got his hand on his throat. His Moton's left leg is up in the air. He's tipping him. He looked like Eric Flowers out there. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, that's the extreme they were willing, because Bosa's predominantly coming from the right side. The offense is left side.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought they put him over there. To my knowledge, I don't know if Taylor Moton's ever played left tackle.
Oh wow.
I mean, that's not a real good idea, I don't think. But
No.
the alternative was a rookie, Dennis Daly.
Yeah.
But all day, I mean, it wasn't like the Patriots against the Jets. I mean, the 49ers weren't blitzing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting pressure just with their
Top four.
just
Well,
with
how
the
good are
4
the
guys
Panthers?
or 5.
How good are the Panthers,
And-
too? Another team I don't think is that great.
No, they're good. And same thing, they ran on them like crazy, man. I mean, their
That's
defense has played
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
49ers are, they're
They look really
They're for
solid
real.
on both sides of the line. That always scares you if you're going to try to play against a team that's solid on both sides of the line, running the ball and
that's
pass rush.
But you can get to Garoppolo. If you play him right, I was watching on ESPN today, you can stop him. Where he starts running the wrong way, and because he's not good when he runs. He starts throwing the ball there. If you give him a pocket and you give him all that time, he's kill you.
but they got the 2 starting offensive tackles out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Who, the Niners?
Yeah, I mean, good offensive tackles are like good starting pitching. You can't find it anymore.
Wow.
And they got their 2 starters out right now.
And they got to play.
and
they
they're
don't play the
expected back, I
Saints. Who do
think,
they
next
play
week. McGlinchey,
Packers
anyway.
or the Saints?
They got to play. The 49ers got to play the Packers. They're not playing anybody next week. They're playing, I think, Arizona on Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
Then I think they finally will play somebody. They got to play either the Packers or the Saints. They got to play them. Those are the 2 teams they got to play.
Wow, they could be 8-0.
And that's it, though.
They could be 8-0 by the time they play the Packers. And
Unless the
and
Rams or
Saints.
Seahawks give them a hard time
Wow.
next time they play them, they get another one that could go 16-0 or close to it.
Yeah, that would be amazing, too. Imagine if there's 2 16-0 teams in the same year.
Could happen. Carl says there's so many bad teams.
There's so many
terrible.
bad
I don't know
teams.
what the 49ers schedule looks like, but
Well, they're playing the South. And the South's not
so-
great. New Orleans is the best team in that division.
Right.
So if you get by New Orleans, you're going to win the South.
Yeah.
They got to play the Packers, which will be a tough game.
Right.
I think it's in San Francisco. And then the American Conference, I'm not sure who they're playing over there.
Who does the
I don't
West
remember.
play this year?
Well, the Vikings are playing the West. So the North is playing the West. The East is playing the East. I think the Souths are playing each other, so it's got to be the North. They're playing.
okay.
So they got Baltimore, maybe.
So
give
they
them a
got
hard
play
time.
Ball. Did they play the Browns already? I thought they did.
I think they did.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. They did play the
Browns,
Browns.
Steelers, I
So
think they did
they're
play-
playing the North. You're right.
So they play the Steelers.
There's
they'll
only
play
one
the
team in the
Bengals,
North.
Bengals.
and then they'll play the Ravens.
Right, the Ravens are the only team now that can give them a chance. So you got
So those are the
Ravens,
3.
Packers, and Saints.
Hey,
Ravens,
man.
Packers, Saints. Yeah.
3 games.
Wow.
Out of all these young quarterbacks or backup quarterbacks, they're playing really good right now.
Well, no,
Like,
they got to play the Seahawks too, don't they?
Yeah, but the Seahawks, they already beat the Seahawks and the Rams. They beat them both.
Ah,
So, I mean, they may not have a problem beating them again.
they always
Those
play
aren't-
the Rams stuff.
Yeah,
that's a tough matchup. Just the fact that you see them more than once, it could be
right.
tough.
I'm
yeah.
not good. I'm not so sure how the Seahawks and Rams have how good they are either because, again, they're beating the mediocre and bad teams.
Yeah.
So, until teams start playing each other, that's when you'll find out.
Right.
And there's not a lot of that going to happen because, again, because of the way the matchups are.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
going to
those.
be a funky playoffs when we get started in them, if you think about them, because a lot of these teams won't even be tested.
Right. A lot of teams won't be.
They won't be tested. I mean, and then you got the teams that kind of disappointments this year, like the Bears. I guess at this point, you
We all
gotta
called
consider
that, though.
the
We all called
Eagles.
the Bears, Trubisky not going to have a good season this year.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
have them making the playoffs.
No,
Yeah,
no.
none of us did.
No, we that's no surprise to us.
No,
Well, I mean, them being that bad though, the bottom.
Yeah, I
of the
guess so.
division. Surprise.
they're in
But-
last place, but they're 3-4.
Yeah. Well, the Eagles too. How about the Eagles? Surprised by well, the Eagles played the Bills tough though.
I'm very-
but
yeah.
That was a big
I'm still,
surprise.
well, they're playing each
Remember
other.
the bounce back game? I says no, because you
Yeah.
said you had the Bills. Remember, no bounce back this week.
Yeah.
They bounced back. Yeah.
Hey,
But the
but
Eagles
on the
are-
road though, that
Yeah.
surprised me more.
The Eagles and Bears play each other this week, so that's going to be interesting.
Eagles
it's
and Bears.
just another loss for the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears are really bad. I mean, you think people are jumping out of buildings in New York? I mean,
I mean,
Chicago's
they're-
going nuts.
They're afraid to try and get some extra yards to get a field goal at the end.
Yeah,
That's basically what the
Yeah.
coach is telling you. I'm afraid. Oh, if we run it and everyone knows that we're going to lose 3 yards. Did you
Right.
hear him say that? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's you can't. You're afraid to let your quarterback get you a couple more
Yeah.
yards. You're
Oh, well, and if we try and pass, we could get a holding penalty. Hey man, why don't you try and win the game?
well, they had a lot of time left though. It wasn't like they were like down to like seconds. It was like 40 seconds.
and they had
left.
timeouts.
Yeah.
I understand. A kicker in this league should make a 41-yarder. I
No,
understand.
you can't guarantee that anymore.
Well, they should, okay? But you can't just sit there and not try and get it any closer.
All right, you can't.
Yeah.
And he came up with I mean, he was, he was snapping at the media. He was just snapping. I think he was mad at himself because he knew what he was saying was stupid.
Yeah,
You can't play like that. Not aggressively for the win. You can't.
You gonna play? Would you play for that guy? He goes up and tells the media, "Oh, well, we couldn't take it. If you're Trubisky, you're not gonna put the ball in my hands. What? You think I'm gonna turn it over?
They
Yeah.
could
Think we're
fall
gonna hold
apart.
him
That's what he
penalty?
was doing. That's
They
what
could
he was
fall
doing.
apart.
Oh, we
now
can't.
because
We
of it.
can't run. Come
He
on.
might be losing the team. Matt Nagy might be
Definitely
losing
could
the
be.
team.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They overachieved last year because they picked up Khalil Mack and Trubisky was running all over the place last year.
Right.
Nobody could catch him.
Right.
Things
Then he
changed
got
this year.
hurt. Then he got hurt.
Right.
And then after
He got
that,
hurt. He's been hurt a couple times now, so
a couple times. He's not going to run anymore.
he's not running like
Hey,
he
we're
was.
just about ready to wrap it up. Great to have you here. This has been a super show. What do we got going on this Saturday? We got another show, right?
The Saturday night sports scene. Yes.
Saturday night sports scene. Carl's going to put in his picks.
I'll put my picks in.
Picks in. Catch us on WNHU.org. We're always live on Facebook. You can catch us out on Franny or John, whatever you want to catch us. Catch the Facebook Live. But like Bill Gannon says, he will be back next week. And say a prayer for somebody else. They're probably going to need it. And great to have you here, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for
Have a
having
great
us.
one,
Take
everybody.
care.
Take care now. Bye-bye. All right, and welcome to Spin. One more time here, right? The Spinato Spin. And here we are on a Tuesday today, the 29th of October. Great to be here. Weather's getting a little more to look like fall here, but that's just the way it is in the Northeast, and that's where we're shooting the shot here. But I'll tell you what, let's talk about something really uplifting, real positive, as if we don't on the Spin, right? Every week we come out with something as positive as we can. Let's get a little more positive. Let's turn it up another notch. Let's talk about some words that are very powerful just when you say them. Praise and recognition. Don't we all need more praise and recognition? Don't we all need to give out more praise and recognition? Think about how your life would be if people that were with you on a regular basis felt that you gave them more praise and more recognition than all the people that they ever hang around with in their life or in their day. All right, so let's play this game. Let's pretend that we are actually giving a lot of praise out. How would we do that? What do I mean when I say the word praise? Well, let's just talk about the actions following praise, right? How do you praise somebody? Well, you got to say something good about them, right? And I believe everybody has a flashing sign on them that says, tell me something good about me. Say something positive about me. Make me feel good. That's what everybody really wants. Deep down inside, there's not a man, woman, or child that doesn't respond to praise and doesn't feel good when it's given to them. Heck, even a plant reacts to praise, doesn't it? You start talking to your plants, you make them feel better. You start talking to your pets or whatever, you make them feel better by saying something in the right tone and with the right positive attitude and the right amount of praise. Positive, sincere praise. Another way you can give somebody some sort of praise, how about if you compliment them? You know, that's one thing about people that go through school, go through life. They never really know how to build a relationship with people. Well, it's real simple. You got to make deposits into their emotional positive bank account. You got to make positive deposits in there. You got to make them feel good that they're around you. Feel good about themselves for that period of time. Or maybe it'll last for an hour. Maybe it'll last for a day. Who knows? Might last a lifetime. But the praise part of it is vital. See, you compliment somebody by saying, I think you look really wonderful because, okay? I think you're doing a great job, and the reason why I say that is you solidify it. You make them feel better. You know, you might say to somebody, you look very good in that outfit today. Matter of fact, it makes your brown eyes really pop out and make you look really nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you for looking so well today. It's really brightening up my day. And the person might say, wow, that's very nice of you. See, that's what you want, though. You want somebody to remember you by. You want somebody that feels good whenever they think about you, not even when they just see you. You know, like the dog sees you, he starts wagging his tail, he's glad to see you. You want people to have that feeling around you. Don't you want that? I think about it. If you're a manager or a leader or something, don't you want to help people feel good so they can perform the best that they can to help them feel good? Of course you do. You know, it comes down to real simple concepts when you talk about praise and recognition. You got to be willing to let yourself know and let other people know that you really appreciate them. You got to make them feel that way. You got to make them feel like they're welcome. You know, one thing I remember my boss in the place I used to work out a while back, he used to say, it's really good to see you today. Well, you know, when you walk into work, you knew that he kind of felt that way, but I always thought about it. I said, you know, that is a great thing to say to people, because I'm always looking for ways to praise people, make people feel better. You always got to look for that. That's what you want. Now, recognition, on the other hand, goes one step further, doesn't it? It gives you an opportunity to commemorate what just happened. You know, Napoleon Bonaparte had a great line. He said, if you give me enough ribbon and recognition and give me an opportunity to recognize enough people, I will conquer the world. I will conquer the world if you give me enough chances to praise my men or praise the people that are working and serving under me. He believed that. And he did. He wound up conquering a lot of the world at that point in time because he fed those guys what they wanted to hear. You know, Vince Lombardi said a tremendous line when it came to recognition, and this makes a lot of sense. He said, I'll give you the key to business and the key to being a winning football coach. He said, here's what it is. Are you ready? And here's what he is. The whole room went to a hush. Everyone quieted down, and he said, this is it. When you capture the person's heart, you capture the person. When you capture the person's way in which they feel about themselves and make them feel real good about themselves, you now have that person allowing himself to be the best they can, to be the eagle that he's supposed to be the person that can really do something special with their lives. That's what Vince Lombardi pointed out. Recognition can be done in a real simple way. Real simple way. You know what you could do? You could say, hey, in front of a group of people that of the individual's peers, so-and-so did a great job last night. Let's give him a hand. You know, right in front of his peers. Makes him feel special. Makes him feel like he's really been appreciated. The other thing is you can give him a small gift. You might give him a piece of candy. You might be able to give him something to make him feel good. And at that moment and say, you know, that was great. You did a awesome job last night. Here you go. Good job. You've been working hard all week. Here's a little gift. Here's a little token of our appreciation. Bam. Now the person has something to commemorate the moment to commemorate the praise and recognition. The other thing you can do along with all that, and this works incredibly well with anybody that really is a little competitive. You could say whoever does the most this time of day or this time of the week or whatever it is at the end of the day will get a t-shirt. And you give them a t-shirt and you'd be amazed how hard people fight over that t-shirt to try to get that recognition. You know, I get a great story. Got a guy coming in to do the show with me today. His father was a football coach in Pop Warner, and the kids that played under him in Pop Warner remembered him for the rest of his life and the rest of their life. Matter of fact, they were so proud of him, they would bring their kids to come by to see their old football coach and the old guy who led them when he was a little kid in Pop Warner. Think about it. Praise and recognition. It's the key to your success, and it's the key to a lot of people's success. Always great talking to you, and we'll catch you next time on the Spinato Spin. Have a great night, everybody.